In this video, I'm going to break down arguably the most important factor that will determine if you actually get clients from the podcast that you appear on, which is going to be your call to action. So in this video, we're going to break down from A to Z how to craft and the exact scripting to use to give your call to action when promoting the offer that you created specifically for podcast. And this is going to be the thing that makes or breaks whether people actually take action on what it is that you have to offer and if you actually make money from the podcast you're appearing on. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Devin Rodriguez, founder of PodcastGuest.io, and we work with all of the biggest names in business and entrepreneurship. And we do two things. Number one, we get them booked on the top podcast in their specific niche. And number two, more importantly, we share with them all of the best practices for how to actually convert those eyeballs and the attention that they're getting from those podcasts into clients. So let's just jump right into this bad boy because I got a lot of information to share with you, and it all comes down to one thing: your call to action. Now, I want to make a big distinction here. There is a big difference between your offer and your call to action. Your offer is what you are actually offering to that audience on that podcast. And in this video, I'm going to link it right up here. We have gone into real depth of how to craft your offer, whether you have a B2B business and you focus on serving people in a B2B niche, or if you have a B2C type of business where you're focusing on a B2C audience. I show you exactly how to create that offer. You could just watch it up here. That is a prerequisite to watching this video. Why? Because if you don't have an offer, your call to action don't matter. So with that being said, assuming that you have watched those videos, let's get right into it. So your call to action, what is it? Why is it so important? Well, your call to action is a part of the podcast where the podcast host asks you, so where can the audience follow you? Where do you want them to go? How can they learn more about your services?
Oh my Lanta. Now this is where people absolutely just
butcher it. This is where people say, go visit my website. Go book a call.
Go follow me on social media. Go to my landing page.
And you know why it drives me absolutely crazy? Because you, the business owner that's watching this right now, if you spend an hour of your time on a podcast, you do that for one reason and one reason only, whether you want to admit it to me or not. As much as you love serving the people you serve, you want to help them, you go on podcasts because you want to make some money. And the reason why it drives me crazy when people say those things is because that type of call to action does absolutely nothing for you. I hear you. You might be that person listening to this right now or watching this, and you're saying, but Devin, I've gone on podcasts and I've said those things and I've gotten some clients. Cool. But my question isn't how much money you made. It's how much have you left on the table by not having a call to action that gives people a compelling reason to act right here, right now. So let's go through what's the problem with that though? But Devin, why not just tell people to go to the website? Why not just tell people to follow me on social media? Well, let me ask you a question. If you're a business owner, probably you're watching this, you're sophisticated, you probably run ads, you probably do cold email. Let's just take advertising on Facebook as an example. If you run paid ads on Facebook and you didn't give people a call to action of the next steps to take and what to do, but more importantly, the funnel and everything on the back end was all jacked up, you wouldn't make any money. So you would never in your wildest dreams run Facebook ads or meta ads and not have a direct call to action because you know that you would make money. But when people go on podcasts, they just think, if I go on these podcasts,
I'm just gonna make all of this money and
It's not how it works, folks, because we need to have a call to action that is specifically dialed in. Now, in order to understand this, the prerequisite to understanding, and hence why I wanted you to watch the training about the offer, is that when you're going on a podcast, you want to create an offer that has two components. And I'm not going to go through in this training what those components are, but long story short, if it's a B2C offer, component number one is going to be some type of fast, quick win resource, such as a checklist, a guide, a toolkit, something like that. The second component, if you have a B2C offer, is going to be like a comprehensive sounding system. Like I'm going to give you my protocol. I'm going to give you my method, my blueprint, my system, my playbook. If you have a B2B offer, component number one for you is going to be the complete system. It's going to be that playbook. It's going to be that system. Component two is going to be some type of audit or implementation call. When you're on the podcast, and we're gonna go through the scripting, so don't worry. The first thing is, hey, I'm going to give you my blueprint or my playbook that's going to show you exactly how to increase your conversion rate optimization. The second thing you say is, hey, the thing is I'm going to give you access to the playbook, but you're going to need help implementing it for your specific business. So that's why I'm going to do a CRO audit that's going to show you exactly, hopefully you get what I'm saying here. So with that being said, if you don't have the components of the offer, you can't create a CTA, right? So with that being said, assuming that you've already created your podcast exclusive offer, let's go to how you actually present it. What's the framing? What's the words? And
oh Ooh-wee, this gets me so excited deep down inside.
Because there's nothing more that I love than helping you, the business owner watching this, learn how to frame your words in a way where it creates an insatiable desire in people for what it is that you have. Because it hurts me, it pains me inside when I see people, I'm gonna cry. When I see people just go on podcasts and say, go to my landing page, book a call, because it sounds like everybody else. And you might think I'm being dramatic, but I'm, okay, slightly being dramatic. But deep down inside, I swear to you, it really does bother me because you're investing the one thing that you can't get back when you go on podcasts, your time. And I am on a mission to help you get the most return on your time on these podcasts. So, let's get to work. Couple big things that you need to understand. This call to action right here, this is the thing that takes what it is that we have and makes it the most appealing offer that this person has ever heard, period. Rather than just being one of those people that says, go visit my website. See, here's the thing. The beauty of a picture is oftentimes determined by the frame in which it is placed. You can have the most beautiful picture in the world, but if it is placed in a frame that is ugly, it is going to greatly diminish the beauty in the eyes of the beholder of the actual photo. It's about the wrapping paper that the gift is wrapped in rather than the actual gift itself. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the offer that we create is wrapped in language which increases the perceived value of the actual gift. Because when you can increase perceived value to a place where people say, oh my God, I absolutely need that, that's when they're going to take action. So how do we do that? Let's just jump right into the exact scripting for you to use. Now, side note, if you have a B2C offer, I'm going to show you the exact scripting for that. If you have a B2B offer, I'm going to show you the exact scripting for that. Let's start with B2C. You have a B2C offer. Actually, B2B and B2C, they both start the same exact way. So let's go through the foundational components of how we actually begin our call to action. So with that being said, the podcast host has finally asked you, hey, where can the audience find out more if they're interested in working with you? So what you want to do is you want to say exactly this. So host, one of the things that I really admire about you is that you are constantly over-delivering for your audience. And that's actually inspired me to want to do the same. So why is that so important? Because what we're doing is we are framing our offer as something that we created as a result of how much they give to their audience. In other words, how awesome they are, how generous they are to their audience. And what does that do? That makes that podcast host feel really special. Now, time out here. Let's pause. A quick side note for you. A big part of getting compliance on actually being able to deliver your offer is you want to communicate to that podcast host before the podcast actually starts that you have something to give to their audience. And the same exact framing that I'm using right now is the same exact framing that you want to give them when you're talking to them before the podcast starts. So what you want to say before the podcast starts is say, hey, one last thing before we start. I created something exclusively for your audience as my way of really just reciprocating what you do for your audience. See, you're always over delivering for your folks because I've listened to 2 or 3 episodes. And truthfully, that really inspired me to want to do the same. So if it's cool with you, are you open? I would actually say, are you opposed to just me giving something that I created specifically for your audience at the end of the episode as my way of saying thank you? They'll always say yes. And that is how now the podcast host at the end isn't just going to ask you, where can they follow you? They're going to say, hey, you have something that you want to offer the audience. What is it? Which is going to lead you directly into your call to action. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, how we start off, very simple, is from a reciprocity frame. Meaning, hey, I created this offer because you are so generous to your audience, and that inspired me to want to be just as generous. So once again, it's very simple. What you say is, cool, so I created it simply because of how generous you are to your audience, and that made me want to kind of do the same thing. So it's my way to say thank you to everybody that's listening, but also for me to match how you over-deliver for your audience. Now, what I've created for your audience is what I call, and then you tell them the name of the bundle. Remember, this is if you have a B2C offer. You tell them the name of the bundle, meaning what you tell them is, hey, I put together something for your audience called the Perimenopause Weight Loss Blueprint. So that's the first chunk. Chunk number 1 is all about the reciprocity frame, saying I created this as my way of saying thank you to your audience, but also because you're always over delivering for your audience, and that inspired me to want to do the same for your audience. And then you name the name of your offer. The next part is you want to go into audience qualification. So with that being said, when it comes to audience qualification, you don't just want to say that I'm going to give you the perimenopause weight loss toolkit and here's what it is. No, you specifically want to say who what you have is for. You want to qualify the audience because we don't want tons of leads. We want tons of the right leads. So with that being said, what you want to do is very simple. What you want to say, let's continue with this example, is if you're a perimenopausal woman right now between the ages of 35 and 50, and you feel like no matter what you try, nothing is working. You want desperately to get back to the body you had in college and in your early 20s, and you're sick and tired of trying everything that isn't working. You've tried the diets where you're eating 1,200 calories a day. You've tried going to the gym for 2 hours a week, 2 hours a day, and nothing seems to be working. See, in reality, all you need is a step-by-step blueprint that is designed to help you get the results you want for your specific body, rather than just following another cookie cutter system. Clearly defined who it's for, what they want, the problems they've had, the things they've tried, and what they need. Oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. Now, big thing when it comes to B2B, the big difference is we don't really put like a bundle name on it. We don't have an offer. So the reciprocity frame, the entire thing there stays the same. All that you're gonna say is, I created 2 things for your audience that I really never give away. So instead of saying, hey, I put together what I call the conversion rate optimization blueprint, you don't really put a name to the 2 components of your offer. Okay. If you're confused, once again, please watch the training where we went through how to create your offer. You just say, I created 2 things that I'm going to give to your audience here today. But before I go into what those things are, let me tell your audience who this is for. If you are a VP of marketing or a CMO, and right now you want nothing more than to scale your paid ads profitably, but are in the position where no matter what you try, you can't. Because what's happening is every time you scale, your ad costs continue to rise. And what's happening is you try to press on the pedal, but then your margin shrinks and ultimately you can't scale profitably. And you've tried everything. You've tried to optimize your pixel. You've tried to change your creative. Hell, you've even probably tried to change what happens post-click. But for one reason or the other, nothing stays the same. And probably you're super frustrated right now because you're trying to do all of the things that people are saying are the right thing, but you can't figure it out. See, what you need is a custom roadmap of how to scale profitably based upon your specific business and show you the exact holes to plug in order to scale profitably. So hopefully you see the 2 distinctions there, okay? One's a little bit more emotional, the B2C side, but B2B is also incorporating some emotion, but also logic on a much higher level than B2C. So with that being said, let's continue. Now we've qualified the audience. Why is that so important? Because we want the audience to say, yep, this is exactly where I am. That's exactly where I want to be. Those are the exact problems I've had. That's exactly what I've tried. Why? Because that makes them feel understood. And people will take action on things and people that make them feel understood. So first you want to qualify the audience before you ever tell the audience what the hell you have for them. Because what good is it if you just create something that's for everybody? Things that are for everybody is for nobody. So with that being said, the next part is you want to get into describing what it is that you have for them. You're going to say the first thing that I have for you is what I call my perimenopausal grocery guide, meaning I am literally going to show you the exact foods that you need to be eating right now if you are a menopausal woman. That's not only going to help you lose weight, but lose weight without having to decrease your caloric deficit or live in the gym for 8 hours a day. So I'm literally going to show you exactly what to go get at the grocery store so you have 100% clarity, but also help you lose weight quickly, but do it in a way where you have peace of mind. So that's component 1. Now, if you have a B2B offer, remember B2B offer, the first component is a more comprehensive sounding solution as opposed to B2C offer, which is like a fast 7-day guide, template, script, or something like that. B2B, it would say, hey, I'm gonna give you my CRO or my ad optimization playbook, where I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step process to take right now if you are stuck scaling your ads so that you can unlock and pull on the one lever that's gonna make the difference so you can scale profitably and ultimately help the company generate more revenue. Boom. See how powerful that is? It's like, wow, you're gonna give me that thing that is going to help me solve this specific problem. And notice how I'm describing how it's gonna help them achieve that thing without doing the thing that they don't want to do. So as an example in the B2C offer, I say, hey, help you lose weight without living in the gym or eating 1,200 calories a day. I had a mentor of mine, Jason Fladley, and I went to an event once. I was dead broke at the time. I paid like $5,000 for it. And I'll never forget this one thing. He said, Devin, you need to help people change the most by changing the least. And I didn't understand that for probably 5 years until I finally understood that you need to figure out a way to help people get what they want without doing the things that they desperately hate. So when we're crafting our offer, and more specifically when we're delivering our offer with this framing and with this language, what we're doing is we're articulating that our solution is the thing that's going to help them get what they want without doing all of the things that they don't want. Why? Because everybody else has told them that in order to get the result, you have to do all of these terrible things that you don't want to do. We want to be the opposite, where we say, hey, this solution is going to help you get to where you want without doing the things that you don't want to do. On the other end, let's say like the ad optimization playbook, I'm going to help you scale your ads without living in your ads manager for 6 hours a day, without having to go and constantly tweak all of the little things that don't really make a big difference, so that you don't have to just sit at your computer and ultimately end up stuck and frustrated again. See there? Okay, so that's component one. So far, we've gone ahead and we've set the reciprocity frame. Step two, or chunk two, if you want to consider it that. Chunk two was audience qualification. Chunk three is all about describing the first component of your offer, the benefits of what it'll help them achieve, and also articulate how you're going to help them achieve that without doing the thing that they so desperately hate. Now, the fourth chunk that we have to dive into is going to be component two. Now, component two, extremely important, is the thing that should really make people so grateful for what it is that you have to offer. Component two is the thing that blows people's socks off. It is the thing that gets people, oh my God, I can't believe that they are offering me this. Thank you, Lord, that they are offering me this. So if you have a B2C offer, what I always tell people is you want to go in and you want to get something from your paid programs or something that you typically give only your paying clients and give that to people on the podcast. Why? Because it creates a sense of urgency and exclusivity. I can't get this anywhere else. If you have a B2B offer, what I always tell people is typically the first part of your process when you're actually going into somebody's company and you're doing something for them, like if you're optimizing their data or something like that, first thing you do is typically like an audit or some type of analysis. Use that as your component two. So let's walk through an example of how to actually say this. We just got done with component one. Now we go to the fourth chunk, which is describing component two. This is how we say it. Listen to the exclusivity framing that we use here. Ooh, I love this. So what we say is, and the second thing that I have for you is something that I have never given away for free ever before. Why? Because it is something that I truly do reserve for my highest level clients. And for those of you that are listening to this that might be skeptical of that because you've heard some guru marketers say that before, I urge you, go look this up on Google. Go see if you can find it on my website. Go check it out. See if you can. I tempt you. You cannot. And the reason why is because I truly do safeguard this and reserve this for my highest level clients. So it starts the same whether you have a B2C offer or a B2B offer. Okay. Next step then is we say, continuing on with a B2C offer. The second thing is what I call my perimenopausal weight loss protocol, meaning I am going to show you the exact step-by-step nutritional framework, exercise program, and supplemental plan that you need based upon your specific body type that is going to help you get back to that beach body that you desire from your early 20s without having to do all of these crazy things that people are telling you on the internet, so that you can finally get to the point where you look in the mirror and you feel confident and you can get back to the place where you can get back into family photos and feel confident rather than hiding in the back. That's where you deserve to be. You hear that? Do you hear how much more desirable that is as opposed to,
If you're interested, reach out, go book a call.
B2B offer? So what you would say is, the second thing that I am going to offer to you is something that I've truly never offered anyone else before. Once again, if you want to go and look this up, go, I dare you. Dare you to try to find this somewhere else. You can't. Why? Because it is the first step that we take with every new client. It is what we call our ad optimization audit. Because here's the thing, I'm going to give you all of the information in our ad optimization playbook, where as an enterprise level company, I'm going to show you exactly the steps to take, but you're going to have questions on how to apply that information to your specific business. So what I am going to do, or what we are going to do, is we are going to literally, in this ad optimization audit, we are going to sit down with you and go through all of your numbers, all of your constraints, go through the exact situation that you are experiencing right now. And based off of that, we are going to create a customized ad optimization framework to you and your business, so you know exactly what holes to plug in, what to do. And by the end of that call, you have an entire framework that all you got to do is go out and execute. So now you can scale profitably and ultimately help the company increase revenue and profitability, which is ultimately going to help you get that next promotion at work or whatever it is, right? So hopefully you see the huge difference there. So that's chunk 4, where we are describing the second component, but we are increasing the level of perceived value by really putting a heavy emphasis on the exclusivity of the fact that you typically charge, or it's typically something for your paid clients. Now, one caveat on this, if you want to include how much people typically pay for this, that is fine if you have a B2B offer, not if you have a B2C mass offer. Let me explain. If you have an offer where it's B2B, where you say, hey, I typically charge my clients a retainer of $10K a month for this information, but I'm going to give it to you for free. Cool. Say that for component 2. The reason why that's cool is because in a B2B setting, people are used to like paying for solutions. It's not something that's new. But in a B2C offer, if you, let's say, help perimenopausal women lose weight, you help people get into trading, biz op type of op, whatever it is, don't say that, because then you just sound kind of like every other person, and it could kind of like scare people away in a sense. Like, it should be more value driven as opposed to the actual numbers. You might be hearing that, but you're saying, Devin, I don't want to scare off. I want people that are not afraid to invest. That's not the point. What I'm saying is a B2C mass offer, they're not turned on by that. They're more turned on by exclusivity, by you just saying that it's for your clients, as opposed to, I charge $6,000 for this type of thing. It just doesn't help you. Based upon our experience, it doesn't help whatsoever. So with that being said, it's not a big deal either way. Like, if you do say it, if you're B2B, cool. If you don't, cool. But if you're B2C, just don't mention it. All right. Now, the last chunk is going to be the actual call to action, meaning how do you actually tell people to go and get that information? So we recommend one of two strategies. Strategy 1 is that you create a specific landing page for that specific podcast, meaning podcastguest.io/ let's say if you were coming on my podcast, The 7-Figure Mentor, I would say go to podcastguest.io/ mentor, or you can use the name of the podcast host / Devin. I wouldn't use Devin because my name is hard to spell. So I would just say it's DEVEN, right? Who spells Devin that way? I would just say go to / mentor. The other way is, let's say you already have a team of like appointment setters or SDRs that operate in your Instagram DM. Another strategy that you can use is go to Devin Rod on Instagram and send me the keyword mentor, and I'll send it right over. I don't really like to do that as much though, because when you lead people to a specific landing page to get your offer, you have much more data tracking and attribution, just analytics that you can look at. So I typically recommend you go that way and you use that solution. So here's the exact scripting of what you would use to lead people to get the offer. What you would say is this. So as I mentioned to all of you that are listening, I created this exclusively for all of you that are listening. You cannot find this anywhere else. And I actually created a specific page for all of you to get access to this offer. I just ask one thing of you. Please do not share this with anybody else, because like I said, I really did create this just for those of you that are tuning into this show as my way of saying thank you. This increases the level of desire that people have when it comes to taking action on your offer, because people want what they can't have. So you hear the scripting, the framing that we're using. It's a beautiful thing. So please don't share it with anybody else.
I won't. I promise. Promise I won't. I want it. I won't share. I promise.
So that increases the perceived value of it when you say, please don't share it with anybody else. So if you want access to it, just go to nameofyourwebsite.com / keyword. If you want access to it, just go to devinrodriguez.com / keyword. Now, quick side note on this. If you do not have a clear domain that is easy to spell, God, please go get one. Go get one. If it's go to devin-rodriguez.wx, people are not going to get. They need something that is easy to remember and understand. So please, if you need to go get a new domain, please do that. Then you want to say go to / name of podcast. So each show should have its own landing page, because that's going to be the thing that helps you track the data and get all of the analytics that you need to know exactly what's happening from what podcast. And then you repeat it again. So what you say is, so once again, if you want access to, and then you name the two components. If you want access to the 7-day grocery guide, and you want access to the perimenopausal weight loss blueprint, or B2B, if you want access to the ad optimization playbook and want to go ahead and take advantage of the ad optimization audit, just go to devinrodriguez.com / mentor, and you can get access right on that page. So thanks for having me. So that's the 5 chunks. Once again, the reciprocity frame, where we are describing the reason why we created this offer, because that's the thing that instantly separates us from everybody else. The second thing is audience qualification, where we describe exactly who this is for, so that only the people that it's meant to be for actually get the offer. So we're increasing the probability that we are getting qualified leads. The third component, or the third chunk, is going to be describing the first component of your offer and what that specifically will help them do, but also describing how it's going to help them get there without doing the things that they don't want. Chunk 4, going through the same process for your component 2. Only difference being that you're increasing the exclusivity of that offer through your language. And then component 5 was where you're actually telling them, hey, please don't share this with anybody else. I created this only for you guys, and you'll see that on the page. So if you want that, just go to blank, 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 and then you repeat it again. So that's the CTA. It might sound like a lot. It is a lot, like as I teach it, but as you practice it, you'll be dialed in. And I'm telling you, hopefully you see the difference, how this framing, this language increases the desire in people for what it is that you have. So steal this, use it. I give you full permission. Don't let this be another YouTube video where you do absolutely nothing with it, okay? So that's the call to action. Thanks for coming here. And please go and use it because it can make you a lot of money.